So post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health disorder caused by a very distressing life event. If someone's still experiencing distressing symptoms, maybe more than 3 months after a traumatic event, it's important to seek professional help to aid recovery. What do we mean by a traumatic life event? PTSD used to be called shell shock. Exposure to exploding shells on the battlefield led to this cluster of symptoms we now call PTSD. Although we often associate PTSD with veterans, you don't have to have been to war to experience PTSD. Any event which threatens survival can be experienced as traumatic. This can include witnessing someone else in a life or death situation. In clinic, we will work with clients experiencing post-traumatic symptoms from a wide variety of events, including accidents at work, bereavements, domestic abuse, sexual assault, and road traffic accidents. Most of the time, symptoms of trauma resolve on their own without help. However, about 1/3 of people who experience a trauma will develop PTSD. There are 4 clusters of symptoms in post-traumatic stress disorder. These are, firstly, re-experiencing or reliving the trauma in some way. Secondly, avoidance. Thirdly, feeling worse about yourself or the world. And finally, hyperarousal. Let's look at these in a bit more detail. Firstly, reliving. The most well-known symptoms of PTSD are forms of re-experiencing the original trauma. This includes unwanted thoughts and memories, nightmares, flashbacks. Flashbacks aren't just images, they can also be emotions or physical sensations. During a flashback, you feel that you're right back in the terrifying situation once again. Everyday experiences can trigger a PTSD response. For example, if I was mugged on a crowded train, the next time I'm in a really busy space, such as a football stadium or a bar, I might experience symptoms of PTSD as my body remembers the sensation of being surrounded, which was also experienced at the time of the traumatic event. And my mind takes me right back to re-experiencing the original event. This can understandably be really distressing. In a traumatic event, the brain doesn't process information in the same way that it ordinarily does. This results in jumbled up memories, extra vivid memories, memories that pop up when they're least expected and least wanted, and even no memories of the event at all. It's the brain's attempt at making sense of the experience, and it's distressing. The second cluster of symptoms in PTSD relates to avoidance. Avoidance is common in PTSD. It's fairly natural to want to avoid things associated with the trauma, to want to avoid triggering a PTSD response. This can really impact on quality of life. There's an impact upon their ability to access work and social relationships. Some people also use drugs and alcohol in an attempt to avoid distressing memories. The third cluster of symptoms involves feeling worse about yourself or about the world. This might involve low mood, blaming yourself for what happened, excessive feelings of guilt or blame, feeling a bit of a negative shift in how you view the world and other people. The final cluster of symptoms is often labelled hyperarousal. People around you might notice that you're more irritable than you were before. You have a shorter fuse, maybe you engage in more risky behaviour, you're on edge, easily startled. You might also notice that you're not sleeping as well as you used to. If you or anyone you know is experiencing symptoms related to trauma, do seek professional help. Your GP is often a great place to start. There are medication options and also talking therapy options. Even if someone suffered for many years before seeking help, people do recover from post-traumatic stress disorder.